dogs, snacks, water. It's fundraising going on for families, fundraising going on for Dyer, for habeas cases, for families out of Plainfield. There is poster making, art making, whistle kit making. We're trying to build some community here, and that was the idea of coming down. So please help yourself to the other side. If you would like anything, if you need some water, that's why it is there. That's a little piece on the safety, and now I will give it to her to do the intro. We have a few speakers, and that's it.
So today we're going to acknowledge that we are gathered together on the indigenous land and territories of the Lenape tribe and America's first people and their descendants living on Turtle Island, the native name for the North American continent. Our society and our racial hierarchy in the United States are built upon stolen indigenous lands, broken treaties with indigenous nations, and domination over native peoples on Turtle Island. We also acknowledge that our nation has benefited from the uncompensated and exploited labor represented in the legacy of slavery and the present-day reality of exploited labor. We do this because it's important to acknowledge the legacy of genocide and racism, along with the legacy of liberation and resistance against oppression as part of the complex reality of this country. If you're feeling sadness, grief, or ambivalence about celebrating the 4th of July this year, this is a sign of how deeply you love your country and want better for her. While America, or the 13 colonies, are celebrating 250 years of existence, remember that Black Americans have only had the right to vote for 61 of those 250 years. Loving your country doesn't require loving your government. The most American thing you can do today to love your country is to challenge those who lead it. So next we're going to start with our first speaker, Andres.
Shut down the camps! Shut down the camps!
Yeah.
Shut down the camps!
Yeah.
Shut down the camps everywhere!
Yeah.
Shut down the camps! Shut down the camps! Shut down the camps!
Everywhere.
Shut down the camps! Solidarity.
Yeah.
I want to thank all of you for being here today in a day where we come together to think through all of this mess that is going on across the nation. This is a land where everybody has come here from West Africa, from Angola, from Congo, from the Mediterranean, from the British Isles, from people that have been here thousands of years. Some of my ancestors, people that have lived here, folks like the Lenape, the Navajo, the Iroquois, all nations that have existed and coexisted here and that have truly taught us the meaning of democracy. When Europeans came here to this land, they learned from the democratic practices, they learned from the horizontal traditions of governance that others were already practicing here. Remember that in Europe at that time, they still had all kinds of levels of social strata, kings and queens and nobility. You had society so stratified with so many taboos and customs, and people learned what it is, the meaning of liberty, coming here to this soil. Right here. So today, as we stand outside a concentration camp, one of the largest concentration camps here on the East Coast, and the largest jail in the whole state of New Jersey, the Essex County Jail, right here. I don't know where, I'm a little bit lost. But we have to remember that these carceral systems, these systems of oppression, it can be beat, but it can't be done with a single individual. It can be done only through collective effort and collective struggle of all of us that are here. I have people from my community here in this center. I have people that are in the Elizabeth Detention Center. And as we watch our neighborhoods and our families being torn apart, people being torn apart left and right, we have to remember that we hold the power. We can organize solidarity networks. We can organize rapid response networks. We can get together. We need to build together unions, parents, teachers, people from all walks of civic life. We need to come together. And we have beat fascism already. We have to remember that in World War II, you had poor working class people from all walks of life, from rural America, going over with the communists on the other side fighting the Nazis. You know, and we have a tradition of fighting and beating Nazis in this country. You know, and we can't do that again. We can do that again through collective effort, through solidarity, and through the mutual love and care that we share for each other. And I'm glad that everyone is here today. I'm happy to share this space with everyone. And I hope that one day all of these people behind me will be free. And that day will come. And that day will come. And thank you so much for being here today with us. Thank you.
I just wanted to start by again thanking everyone for being here. I think this is a time where we really need to understand the importance of community and understand that even us being here is a part of the revolution, that we need to build these connections with each other, with our neighbors, with people we don't know, with people we do know. We need to have conversations with people where it might be a hard conversation to have, but all of these are pieces of the revolution. All of these are resistance. And these are the small things that will come together to build the world that we know is possible. We know that we've never had liberty and justice for all in this country. We today instead are going to celebrate 250 years of resistance. We are going to celebrate 250 years of community and of us freeing each other. And so again, I urge you to find your mutual aid groups. I urge you to create them in your own communities if you don't have them. To find the people around you that are like-minded and to start even those micro communities, making sure that you know your neighbors, you have their numbers, they have yours. We need to be inspired by Minnesota, see what they were doing, and we need to recreate that here in New Jersey. We've seen for the last month how brutal ICE has been and how our government, our local politicians, our governor, none of them are coming to save us. We are the only hope that we have is each other. The only thing that we have is each other. So solidarity is the thing that is going to save us all. I myself am a child of immigrants. I have seen in my own community how this is tearing people apart, how this is tearing families apart. I am Muslim. I've seen my parents, were able to come here because they, checked off the right boxes on the visa form. But I see so many other people who are from the same country that I'm from and who are not able to come anymore. Pakistan is now on the banned list. I am a teacher, a public school teacher, and I see my students, I see them being ripped from their families. I see them scared every single day. I see police walking through our schools as if they own it with their bulletproof vests on and their guns on their belts, and the children just having to sit there and watch them walk by and wonder what's going on. This is, again, the start. This is not the end, and so we need to be prepared. We need to, again, do it in a way where we have each other to lean on, and we have those connections that will protect us. I'm a part of a rapid response network as well, and so again, that's something that I urge you to do within your own communities or connect to the local ones. Resistencia in Mercer County, Dyer. There's a lot of really amazing rapid response groups that are already put together. And so I just want to end with some chants to get us, again, thinking about each other, but also thinking about our folks inside, our siblings who are locked up in cages on this 250th anniversary of independence, in quotation marks. So repeat after me. We are unstoppable.
We are unstoppable.
Another world is possible.
Another world is possible.
We are unstoppable.
We are unstoppable.
Another world is possible.
Another world is possible.
I believe that we will win.
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 I believe.
I believe.
I believe that.
I believe that.
I believe that we.
I believe that we.
I believe that we will win.
I believe that we will win.
Thank you so much.
Hello everyone, my name is Nelly Benavides. I'm co-chair of the Green Party of New Jersey, and as the Green Party is also part of Break the Bonds New Jersey. Break the Bonds is a coalition of many organizations with the main purpose of divesting public funds from companies tied to war and human rights abuses, to end state contracts that support them, to set ethical investment rules, to repeal New Jersey's anti-BDS law, and shut down state programs that normalize these abuses. Israel directly support the Israeli military and government, including the war in Gaza and the forced displacement of Palestinian families and the government's apartheid system. And for that, as part of the bonds that the state is invested on, the pension funds. So the campaign from Break the Bonds is to break exactly those bonds, and there's an actual campaign right now on the Linktree. If you research Break the Bonds online, you can find the Linktree and a letter to sign, an action letter, and also many other ways that you can join the organization or yourself. And actually it's a campaign against Palantir. Palantir provides the software backbone for ICE surveillance and enforcement, same as it has done in Palestine and Gaza, Lebanon, Iran, and Venezuela, identifying attack targets. With their technology, they locate immigrants and activists in U.S. and world asking, and activists in U.S. What's going on in the Nanny Hall and many other detention centers around the country is the result of Palantir's cooperation. Break the Bonds has a campaign right now asking the state to divest $130 million in public funds from Palantir that is currently included in the New Jersey State Pension Fund, as I said before. You can follow Break the Bonds in Instagram, and we need to work together to dismantle the oppressive machine, cut its tentacles and its heads. Each of us can contribute with something to end this monstrous company, which that's what it is. If you are familiar with what's going on here inside, if you've ever been inside, if you talk to the people inside, this is horrific, and this is what Palantir is doing. As I said again, not just here, but in Latin America, in Palestine, in Gaza, in Lebanon, everywhere. They have got so much power. Palantir is not new. It started some decades ago, but it has grown to this because of all the politicians that enable that. So we have to campaign for the state of New Jersey to cut the ties with this company. So we are calling for the closing of the concentration camps, as it was said before, and to free them all. Thank you.
Okay, so for a lot of us, today really doesn't feel like a day to celebrate, right? But today I'm celebrating the people of America who've come here searching for a better life, a safer life, and those who are here fighting for humanity, all of us here. To those of us here that are fighting for justice for all, it may feel like sometimes that we're alone, that I know I feel that way sometimes, that there's not very many of us, right? But you have friends everywhere. You're not alone. Today, I'm celebrating the brave women and men who rebel against unjust leaders. Teddy Roosevelt said that patriotism means to stand by the country. It does not mean to stand by the president. Today I'm also celebrating active duty Air Force Major Jason Watson, who in uniform stood up for all Americans by calling for the impeachment, conviction, and removal of his commander-in-chief, knowing that it would result in his arrest, court-martial, and most likely prison time. And most importantly today, I have a message for those who also disagree with this administration but aren't doing anything about it. It really pisses me off. Be brave. Do it scared. Speak up. They wouldn't be trying to silence us if our voices weren't powerful. The very least that you can do is to vote in November. If you're part of the 1/3 of eligible voters that don't